Just research PDF dollar.
Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. This is Srinivasrao, Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology, BRR Government College at Challa. Today we'll speak about contributions of microbiology. So far we have discussed about history of microbiology. In that we have discussed about the events, debates, theories, and we discussed about some of the scientists and their works. But now today's class, we are going to talk about contributors. Contributors means here the scientists who devoted their work. Individually, we are going to learn about each and every one. We have many contributors who contributed their work to the development of microbiology and development of and identification of microorganisms, and many of them played a vital role in application of microbiology in daily life. We'll talk about a few of the important people who contributed their life for the microbiology. Among the first one is Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Antony van Leeuwenhoek. When you hear this name, everybody who has a knowledge of microbiology, and everybody, when they heard the name of Leeuwenhoek, when they heard the name of the Leeuwenhoek, he considered him as a father of microbiology. Why he was considered as a father of microbiology? Now we'll see why he was considered as a father of microbiology. When you see his history, he was from Delft, Dutch. He is a Dutchman. He was a son of a draper. Draper means the one who takes care of cloth materials. And in his childhood, he was went to apprentice to do linen draper at Amsterdam. And he returned to Delft when he was 20. And he established himself as a draper and Amsterdam. He belongs to the cloth merchant family, and he had a habit of taking care of cloth and tailoring, and he used to take care of the men's tailoring materials. He was not a learned man in science, but he had much curiosity in observing the things. As I said earlier, he apprenticed in draper. Draper means the person who observes a cloth material by using a magnifying lens. By using magnifying lens. He used to magnify the things and he used to observe it. And also, he is a lens maker. He used to grind the lens. He used to grind the lens. grinding and making lens. In general term, we should call him as a lens maker. He was a lens maker. Out of curiosity, when he was grown up as a very good businessman and he was self-satisfied with his earnings in his business, then the curiosity and habit what he had, and he turned his curiosity observing small objects using hand grinded lens. And he was the man in the history who used magnifying lens and used to observe particles and organisms in the environment nearby. And he made himself curious to observe things in rainwater, mud, scum of teeth, spoiled wine, and he used to observe external surfaces, and he had observed external surfaces of ants, small flies, and other creatures like honeybee. And also he observed blood cells. And majorly he observed sperm cells of man, dog, and donkey like this, by using whatever the hand lens he made. And the history of microbiology, he was the man wrote letters to the Royal Society of London stating that I was observed very little animals in the rainwater and scum of the teeth, and these were recorded. And he was the first man in the history taken the project in 1674, and he observed them very little animals, and he stated them as animalcules. And as I said, he described spermatozoa from insects, dog, and man. And he noticed yeast consists of minute globular particles and also blood capillaries giving accurate description of red blood cells. And he was considered as father of microbiology. According to history, he is the man documented the observation of organisms by using microscope, and says that he made almost all 200 lenses on his own. He grinded. And in history, and he was the man who made the microscope to see the little objects. After his observations by using hand lens, and this has given a way for disproving spontaneous generation theory. And it evoked the scientist field of biological sciences and aware the people we have unseen life, the little animals, the great renowned work as a dropper out of his curiosity, habit, he created wonders and he became father of microbiology. So these are, this is the microscope. This is the microscope prepared by the Leeuwenhoek. This was the Leeuwenhoek microscope, and this is the lens. This is a sample loader used to observe from here. This is a knob, focus knob, translator, which for the movement of the specimen. And these are the figures drawn by Leeuwenhoek. These are the different shapes. And these are different kind of sperm cells drawn by the Leeuwenhoek after observing sperm cells of insects, dog, and human beings. And these are the different kind of insects he observed externally. Exoskeleton was observed by Leeuwenhoek. And he was a man behind exposing invisible world to the people. And this is a brief history regarding Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Now we'll talk about another man in the history of microbiology. He was none other than Edward Jenner. Edward Jenner. I already shared a brief history on Edward Jenner while I'm talking about history of microbiology. He was called as father of immunology. He was called as father of immunology. Why? I tell you. Why I tell you. In history, previously I mentioned about Lady Montagu. Who popularly spread the process of variolation across the European world, and it prevented millions of people in the Europe not to contact with smallpox and get rid of smallpox. But a scientific way of procedure and work was carried out by Edward Jenner. So when you see Edward Jenner, he was a well-known around world for his innovative contribution to the immunization and ultimate eradication of the smallpox. The world knows the pandemic of the smallpox, how severely and worstly the globe was affected with the smallpox, and sufferers has seen the history. Basically, we see, I already told you in the prehistoric times, the smallpox is there. But one thing happened, as I mentioned about Lady Montagu, in 1757. In 1757, an 8-year-old boy was inoculated with smallpox in Gloucestershire. He belongs to Gloucester. His name was Edward Jenner. He undergone a variolation. Right from the beginning, he was very curious in science. He was a man passionate towards the science. He studied science. He practiced as a doctor and physician. He went and visited many places. He did a great job. Basically, Jenner has a man who kept his foot in each and every discipline of the science. That's why he was occupied with many matters. He himself occupied with many matters. After observing hydrogen balloon, and he made a hydrogen balloon and traveled. He did experiments in physics. He did experiments in natural science. He was very fond of natural science. You see, he studied geology, carried out experiments in human blood. You see, geology, what is geology and what is human blood? Geology is something different about studying of rocks and earth. But he did experiment in human bloods. So that's why Jenner is a multi-faced man who had a knowledge on natural science and most of the sciences he had. But Jenner, after Lady Montagu did a great job, and he taken up the advocating or finding something to the smallpox in later ages. Finally, he concentrated finding a solution for smallpox. How he had it? He used to heard the tales said by milkmaids. I think many of you know about tales. Tales means small stories which are very funny, like this. Tales they used to say, like songs. Milkmaid used to say, nothing happens to us with the smallpox because we have a cowpox. And these kind of tales are listened by Edward Jenner, and he practiced that. So Jenner concluded that cowpox not only protected against smallpox but also could be transmitted from one person to another, and deliberate mechanism of protection. It gives a protection. And that's why in 1976, Edward Jenner found a young dairymaid, milkmaid, Sarah Nilms, and he brought a fresh cowpox lesions from her. And in May 14th, 1976, the same lesions are inoculated to a 8-year-old boy, James Phipps. James Phipps. This is the diagram shows he is immunizing James Phipps. He is a James Phipps, a 8-year-old boy. He did. After 2 days, he suffered with mild fever, and he survived. And the same process and same procedure he carried out across the Europe. And he succeeded in preventing smallpox. It was happened in 1796. This was a great work done by Edward Jenner, and he carried out the same process and procedures. He succeeded, and he became a man to immunize masses and make this smallpox to fly away. Hence, people acknowledged him as father of immunology. The pathetic story is that he got married and he got 5 children. Most of them died out of tuberculosis. His wife died with tuberculosis, but finally he died with a stroke, a massive stroke. He has seen many sorrows in his life, but finally, the house he lived became a museum after Edward Jenner demise. Then we'll talk about another man in the history. Great renowned worker, acknowledged person, remembered forever. His contributions are unforgettable, and his contributions are given a new phase to the microbiology. A new era, a new phase was initiated after this man entered into the field of microbiology, and who is none other than Louis Pasteur. Most of you heard about Louis Pasteur since your lower sections. Louis Pasteur. He is a man from France. He is a man from France, and a studied man. He is a studied man occupied with chemistry. Basically, he was a chemist. He was a chemist. Though he was a chemist, he is a multi-faced man, multi-knowledged, and challenge accepted man. The first challenge he was accepted is disproving of spontaneous generation theory. By the time he accepted the spontaneous generation theory, he is working on fermentation process. He is working on fermentation. I will talk in later sections about fermentation. Spontaneous generation theory, for this he received a cash prize, and he was given a great acknowledgement for disproving the spontaneous generation theory we discussed in history of microbiology. And he was the man who proposed fermentation process. Fermentation. You all know very well about what is fermentation. Fermentation. Fermentation is a kind of respiration process exclusively carried out by microorganisms, and they convert one form of material to the another form. Their form will be changed. Means we say like this: two reactants gives rise to product. Same manner here, the two reactants gives rise to product. It's a chemical reaction, but here is the involvement of microorganisms. Then this process we call it as fermentation, by releasing a gas like carbon dioxide, methane, or so and so, and it produces a product. The product varies. The product varies from process to the process. And he observed, he did an experiment, various experiments, and he concluded some of the organisms responsible for the fermentation, he called them as ferments. Later, he identified them as yeast, fermentation of the alcohol. And another renewed work he did is preservation of foods. It's a great problem in the Western countries. So one of the great problems in the Western countries they are facing is preservation of food, especially preservation of wine. They have a process of making wine, but it is not preserving for longer time. It's being infected, and they are observing spoiling, sour smell, bad odor is coming. Then people hand over the work to the Louis Pasteur, and Louis Pasteur is doing work, and he did work. And he started doing work on the preserving a wine, what to do. And he did a series of experiments and practicals, and he come up with a simple solution, and he boiled wine at 62.8 degrees centigrade for 30 minutes. This was the temperature he did boil, and which made wine not to lose its commercial value. There is no change in the color, change in the order, texture, and taste, and it remained safe for longer time without any spoils. And he subjected it. Later, it called in the name of Pasteur, pasteurization. And he was the man behind for the process of pasteurization. Each and every food industry will follow the mechanism of pasteurization. Later developments has come in the form of technology. Pasteurizations have different modes and methods. We'll discuss in the sterilization process later. But actual pasteurization process was initiated and identified by the Louis Pasteur. He contributed in preserving the food material. And he was the man developed steam sterilizer, hot air oven, autoclave. We'll talk in sterilization procedures. Pasteurization of milk and wine. And he was the man behind peripheral fever, mortar reduction in the peripheral fever. Already Zemmelweis talked about the peripheral fever, and he was the man talked about anthrax, cholera, and rabies. And he did a great job for cholera and rabies. Again, there is a chicken cholera. 2-3 things Raynaud works. He did one is on chicken cholera. Chicken cholera. Chicken cholera is one of the disease, and many poultry farmers are getting lost because of the dying of the chickens. All the poultry farmers approached Louis Pasteur and asked, "Dear Pasteur, sir, our chickens are killing and dying. What show our solution?" Then he did this first work in the field of immunology. How means the chickens are dying. Then he simply acknowledged and reminded the work of Jenner. What Jenner did, he implemented the same formula. For that, what he brought? He brought the diseased chickens and healthy chickens. And he used to do the experiment serially. He used to take the samples from the diseased chickens and given to healthy chickens. Every day chickens are dying. He's doing the same, and he's doing a regular activity, and he's observing healthy chickens are dying. One day, he left the samples which are drawn from the diseased chickens and left on the table, went for long vacation. After long vacation, he came and he noticed that this is a diseased blood sample brought and drawn from the diseased chickens. And he is given long time incubated, drawn blood samples from the diseased chickens to the healthy chickens. Accidentally is given, and we call it as serendipity. He did serendipity, and then these healthy chickens are not received disease, and they are joyfully playing. He noticed why the chickens are not died. I have given the cultures which are drawn from the dead chickens or diseased chickens. Why these chickens are not died and they're playing very happily? Immediately, he brought a fresh cultures from the diseased chickens and given to healthy chickens, and they died. And he did another experiment. He has taken the already old samples given chickens which are playing happily after they received the old blood samples and given with the fresh diseased chicken blood samples. And he noticed and he observed for them. And after days, they didn't receive any disease and they are playing very happily. Immediately noticed and observed, and he told that incubating samples for longer time, they lost the pathogenicity. They lost the pathogenicity, and he named it as attenuation. He is the man behind coining the term and introducing the process called as attenuation. And the cultures are attenuated. Attenuation means loss of pathogenicity. They lost the pathogenicity, but they immunized the chickens. They immunized the chickens. And he remind the work of Jenner and to give acknowledgement to the Jenner. And the term he named as vaccine. The term vaccine was coined by again Louis Pasteur to give acknowledgement and regard and reward to the Edward Jenner. Vacca means in Latin cow. Hence he is given vaccine. That is how he became a first man to prepare vaccine. He did same procedure for the development of rabies vaccine. That's why he made a vaccine for cholera. Later he made a vaccine for rabies by doing the same procedures. And also he did another great job in febrile disease of silkworms. Silkworms. Silkworms are dying in France. There's a great disease. Simply is given a note. Just separate healthy silkworms and diseased silkworms separately and grow. And it has reduced the disease. Separating and quarantining. He is given very simple fundamental tips with a sense of humor and presence of mind, and it worked out. And later they implemented as one of the versatile technologies in microbiology in the field of immunology and medical microbiology. He is a contemporary of Robert Koch. Scientifically, they have many controversies and debates they had together. And he is a man who identified anthrax individually, but at the same time, the same was identified by the Robert Koch in Germany. So, as unanimously I say, Louis Pasteur is a great man. He contributed much, though he was basically from a chemistry background. He contributed very much in the development of microbiology. He is a man behind spontaneous generation theory disproving. He is a man behind sterilization. He is a man behind fermentation. He is a man behind preservations. He was a man behind vaccinations, and a man behind most of the medical microbiology applications. That's why he is one of the renowned men in the history of microbiology. Now we'll talk about another man as an important person, a contemporary of Louis Pasteur. He was a Robert Koch. Basically, he was a physician, doctor, Goldstahl from Germany. He was acquired medical degree from the University of Göttingen in Germany in 1866. He developed a strong interest in pathology and infectious diseases as a medical student. He was working as a physician in a small town for Germany. He volunteered the military surgeons and he appointed as district medical officers in the war, and he appointed in many places, but he is not satisfied as a medical officer investigating most of the things. He went back to his native place and he started working. The first work is Koch was very much interested in transmission of anthrax from cattle to the human beings. He did a great experiment and he given a postulates. We call them as Koch postulates. We already discussed Koch postulates in history of microbiology. Koch formulated 4 criteria that's we call as postulates. Hence, an organism has to follow or to be called as a pathogen, they must follow the postulates given by the Robert Koch. And Robert Koch is a brilliant contributor and acknowledged in 1905. He was given a Nobel Prize for physiology. And Robert Koch was a man behind developing of pure culture techniques. Pure culture techniques is a man behind preparation of media and identification of microorganisms. Is a man behind staining. Staining, he used to use aniline and acrylic dyes to observe the microorganisms under microscope. And his successor, Hesse, made agar-agar, and he used the media, bacteriological media was developed by, bacteriological media was modified and developed by the Hesse, who was a descendant of Robert Koch. Koch is one of the men who contributed his life in the development of medical microbiology. He was the man behind identification of microorganisms, especially pathogenic microorganisms. He identified bacillus, anthracis, he worked on leprosy, he worked on tuberculosis, he worked on mycobacterium tuberculosis, and he worked on preparing pure culture techniques. He worked on preparation of media techniques. So whatnot, he did a great renowned job in the development of the microbiology. These are some of the scientists. So far we discussed. Among them we have Louis Pasteur. Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. So far we talked about Anthony van Leeuwenhoek, Louis Pasteur, Edward Jenner, and Robert Koch. These are few of the main contributors who contributed their life and their work to the development of microbiology. In next class, we learn about few of the other contributors who contributed for the development of microbiology in different field of microbiology. Thank you.